Is there a reason why these whales, like particularly orcas, are very prominent in that area versus, like as an example, I don't really hear much about orcas being in Florida or the Carolinas or on the East Coast at all.
It's not real clear. Orcas exist in every ocean on the planet, and sometimes, as in up here in the Northwest, you'll have two or three separate ecotypes existing in contiguous or the same waters. And so it's not really clear why they're here, other than that there is a huge abundance of food for them, for both ecotypes. So that is the mammal-eating killer whales that eat seals and sea lions, as well as the fish-eating orcas, who up until the last 50 years or so had this huge abundance of Chinook salmon that were very large, very fatty, full of lipids, and were became their targeted food. Um, and we know that they started populating these waters when the glaciers receded after at the end of the Ice Age, and and that's when they, sort of evolved this focus on their prey focus was Chinook salmon. So it's not really clear why they evolved this way, except that every ecotype on the planet, including Antarctic orcas or Indian Ocean orcas, um, are they develop cultures built around the requirements of their prey. The transient orcas that we have up here really only live in pods of 5 to 7, and they have some dispersal of males as they age. Um, because they need to be sneaky. They need to be very surreptitious when they're hunting seals and sea lions. That's the only way, that's the way they can get them. Whereas the fish-eating orcas have no need to be sneaky. And so they will have pods, 20 to 30 orcas sometimes. And there's no dispersal. They remain with their family units their entire lives. So the like I say, the prey that's available to them does a lot to shape their cultures. There are orcas in the Caribbean. Not sure why there are not orcas on the eastern seaboard. There certainly were orcas for many years up in Maine, and still are, I believe. North Atlantic orcas are known, but yeah, we don't see many orcas there in the mid-Atlantic. It's not really clear why, but it's possible that they just don't have any prey, um, or anything that would necessarily attract a population of them and could sustain a population of orcas. So, um, and it's very possible, if not likely, that they did exist there at one time and then just kind of filtered away as the prey base was destroyed. And particularly Atlantic salmon, they used to be highly abundant on the whole eastern seaboard, and that population got wiped out in the first couple hundred years of white population on the continent.
Now, the different ecotypes that you mentioned, like, transients and residents, do they like each other or do they get along with
No,
each other? Yeah.
no, they have no cultural interaction whatsoever. The residents tend to chase the transients out of their waters, and the transients seem to do their best to avoid the residents as possible. Not seen any hostility other than raking when they do encounter each other. But they have no, none of their communications, the vocalizations that orcas share within their pods and within their populations. There's no crossover with the residents, and in fact, or with the transients, I should say. Um, And the genetic tests that they've done indicate that these animals have not had any genetic interaction in over 300,000 years, which is longer than human beings have been on the planet. So